Hey, hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new Cat at Home session about utility compactors, Caterpillar utility compactors. So first, let me introduce myself very shortly. My name is Umberto Fidanza. I live in Bologna, in Italy, where we have a Caterpillar paving factory. And I'm a management engineer. I've been working for 15 years in Caterpillar now. I have experience in operation and supply chain management and project management, and I'm currently in the Caterpillar paving sales and marketing team for Africa, Middle East, and Eurasia. So I mentioned that I'm working in a paving factory. So when we talk paving in Caterpillar, we mean a range of models covering 7 different platforms and 17 models, and that includes pavers, asphalt pavers, rotary mixers, so stabilizers and reclaimers, and coal planers and mills as what we call processing machines. And at the bottom, all type of compactors, the ones for soil, the ones for asphalt, utility compactors, and pneumatic compactors. So today we're going to talk about utility compactors, what we mean with the utility compactors. So the utility compactors have a weight range here in the middle of up to 5 metric tons. And they're kind of the little brothers of the larger asphalt compactors, 7 to 10 metric tons and up to 16 metric tons in another size class. And are basically asphalt compactors that can be used in tighter application with shallower thick lifts and in small to medium sized jobs. We call them utility because we want to focus on the versatility of these machines, the fact that they are multi-purpose for every type of compaction job, asphalt compaction jobs in tight space and small to medium-sized jobs. And they're so versatile that they can also cover some soil compaction jobs. So they're kind of borderline with the other product family, which is the one of soil compactors. They can also be used for compacting gravel, sand, silt, always with pretty shallower thick lifts. So that's why we call them utility. Multi-purpose and versatility is the key word. And here's the compactors, utility compactors model range. Most of the utility compactors for asphalt are called CB and then some letters and figures in Caterpillar. And CB stands for compactor bitumen, which kind of focuses on the main application, which is asphalt. And then we have the smallest one with an operating weight lower than 1.8 tons. So the CB 1.7 or 1.8, in which the figure after the CB acronym indicates directionally the operating weight, which might change a lot depending on whether what type of configuration you choose and whether there are ballasts on or not. Then there are the 2.5, 2.7, and 2.9 metric tons machines. And then we have the free up to 5 tons machines with a slightly different nomenclature, what we call the B series. Here, the relationship with the weight is not as direct. We can have the CB36 that can weigh up to 4.6 tons. And you can see the compaction width ranges from 0.9 meters up to 1.4 millimeters. All the machines have a Caterpillar engine on it. And then there's another type of machines which is called the compactor combi, the CC machines. The difference versus the CBs is the fact that they don't have 2 seal drums, they have 1 seal drum in front and pneumatic tires on the back, so they can exploit also the compaction effort of the pneumatic tires. And we have the CC 2.6 and the CC 34B. So let's look at a little bit of have a look at the main applications where we can use those machines. So the smallest ones are mostly used for walking paths, driveways, walkways, patchwork, very tight jobs. We're talking about a machine that is 2 meters long, very tight spaces, ability to work in very tight spaces, including trenches. And then when we go to 1.8 through 3 tons, we have a little bit larger parking lots, urban streets, country lanes, tight country lanes with several hurdles, trees that might make the usage of a larger asphalt compactor not easy. And we also see here in this nice picture in Paris a good example of an application on soil. So with the compaction of the soil base before a pavement is laid down with concrete bricks. And here we have the larger ones that can be used up to larger roads and even highway in some specific applications, such as compacting the side lanes, compacting the joints, unifying the joints. And here, what we want to focus on when we look at these type of machines, they need to be versatile, they need to be reliable, and easy to service, easy to use. So in terms of reliability, one thing that we want to stress is the fact that all the utility compactors, the Caterpillar utility compactors, have Caterpillar engines on. Here is the 3 model names of the engines, and they're very popular industrial engines, deliver impressive performance, ideal for a variety of smaller off-road applications, used on Caterpillar and non-Caterpillar equipment worldwide. There's a few examples here of other Caterpillar equipment that use the same engines. So mini excavators, gensets, and skids, Caterpillar skid steers have the exact same engine. So you have the advantage here of having the very same manufacturer of the engine and the machine itself providing service for the machine. And also when we talk about engine and power and traction, one nice optional feature that we offer is the traction control. Traction control is basically a flow divider. So when we encounter a surface or a grade that lets the front drum slip, the flow divider can be activated either through a pedal or through a button, depending on the models. And the flow divider directs the flow to the drum that is not slipping. We have here a picture of the valve. It can be pretty easily retrofit also on a machine that does not have it. We're talking about less than 8 hours for work. And this is good also for loading and unloading operations with the steep ramps. Some trailers require steep ramps to load the machine on the truck. Another thing in terms of ease of use of this machine is the excellent visibility. The rounded front hood, engine hood, provides very clear, unimpeded line of sights to the front drum edges, also good visibility on the rear. That's very important for accurate operations. And you can see, there's no need to lean too much outwards to see what's happening on the front. And intuitive controls, there's a friendly multifunction control panel with very simple and easy to read toggle switches, easy to view display with dials and anti-vandal protection, very intuitive. When it comes to asphalt compaction, one feature that is very important is an effective water spray system. We have a very good one because it's not important when you compact soil, but when you compact asphalt, bitumen, and aggregates tend to stick to the drum, and the asphalt layer we need to lay down, it needs to be very smooth. The driver driving on the completed road that does not have to feel hurdles, bumps, waves, or any excessive noise also while driving. So it's very important that there's a very good water spray system and scraper system to remove the aggregates and the bitumen sticking on the drum. So there's a spring-loaded self-adjusting scrapers. We have very large single water tanks, depending on the size of the machine, up to 308 liters. The intermittent spray mode, which allows to save water by using on-off cycles of spraying and not spraying, 15 or 20 seconds, depending on the model. A single drain point to prevent cooling of the water in the system. And what's very important is the triple filtration system. So what happens and what can take a lot of time in the operator's life is the fact that any impurity in the water might eventually clog the nozzles. So it's important to filter effectively the water. The source of water might not be the cleanest as possible. So we have a filter at the fill port at the top of the water tank. We have a filter before the water pump, which also increases the life of the water pump. And we have filters, strainers in each spray nozzle. So very effective triple water filtration system. So when it comes to operations in tight job sites and sometimes in curves, there's another standard feature here, which is the drum offset. So by simply operating on a threaded bolt between the two half frames of the machine, so this is the hitch, you can move the hitch and offset the two drum frames. So you can have an offset of up to 50 millimeters, which on one hand increases the width of compaction, but on the other hand prevents some effect, unwanted effect, when you're compacting flush to a curb on a tight roundabout, on a tight curve. So what happens is that if you don't have an offset, you go flush to the curb, compact with the front drum, and if the curve is tight enough, the rear drum might hit and damage the curb. So if you offset outwards the rear drum, that will be prevented. So it's a very simple and useful feature. And another simple feature that's connected with the hitch system is that the hitch is reinforced on the CB 1.x and CB 2.x motors to allow a single lift point. So this single lift point allows to lift the machine with a hook from this single point between the two half frames, and very, very useful for transportation, very useful to drop the machine into a trench or remove it from a trench. And then we come to maintenance. It's very important to have a simple maintenance, hassle-free, and as quick as possible. So this is made possible by the fact that the Caterpillar engines have a single-side service access, so very easy to access all the service points. The engine oil change is every 500 hours. The vibratory drum inside the drum itself, their maintenance interval is 3 years, 3,000 hours. And the hydraulic and cooling remote drains are also very accessible. When we go to the electrical system, it's a fuse and relay design, so very simple troubleshooting, color-coded number wiring, nylon braided wraps for the harnesses so that their duration is improved, and all-weather connectors so that the connectors are not damaged by severe weather conditions. And the last part is about some very good options that makes the life simpler in several conditions. So all the options you might need to tailor the machines depending on the application you need to work on. So here's we have the folding ropes or the folding canopy option. We have a suspension seat with safety switch. Safety switch detects when the operator is not sitting anymore. It's a safety provision and stops the machine. Optional dual propel lever for right or left hand operations. Sliding seat option. Other option is the roading and working lights for comfortable night operations. Also, the visibility of the display and of the toggles is very convenient for night operations. Battery disconnect switch option to save the battery lifetime in case of prolonged lack of usage of the machines. Additional ballast is also a very good option to increase the weight depending on the need. Basically, here we see this U-shaped steel ballast. You can add one per each side of each steel drum. Each one weighs 100 kilos, so you can add weight up to 400 kilos. And rear bumpers in case you need to work very close to obstacles, and that is the case several times for the utility compactors due to their ability to work in very tight spaces. So this preserves the lights time. And another thing that is also an option that can be used is the custom paint. So sometimes companies have their own company colors, their own machine livery. So there's the possibility to select a specific custom color as to replace the standard cut yellow. Here there's a yellow, bright yellow that is not Caterpillar, blue, white, some example. And here in the middle there's a specific single unit that we painted in dark gray and was in celebration of 30 years of building utility compactors. So also very long experience and history background in building this type of equipment. And last but not least, I encourage to visit cut.com. There's a lot of information on the Caterpillar website, simply cut.com. You can see the entire product range. It's under the chapter tandem vibratory rollers, which basically means it's rollers with two steel drums. And in addition to the broad range, you can check the key features of the machines, the standards, the optionals, and also you can find the dealer contacts. There's a search link at the top of the page, find dealer. You can find your closest dealer to get quotes and get more information. All right, we have some time for questions. Let me check my all right, I'm checking what comments we have in the comment section. All right, encourage you to write any questions you might have about these machines, these machines in the comment section in Facebook. All right, so the first question is from Simone, and it's about what tools are required or recommended to fold ropes and canopy. Well, it's very simple. There are no, here you see a picture of the canopy already folded. It's very simple. There's no specific tools required. One single operator can do it. Does not need excess force to do it. Just remove a pin, fold it. There's a piston that helps with this operation. So it's very convenient and easy. No tools, no excessive force needed to do that. Then we have a question from who asks what means CC. CC means compactor combi. So when we see CC sales models, it's the ones that have a vibratory steel drum in the front and here we go, and pneumatic tires in the back. So it's a kind of allows to combine a little bit the advantages of the vibratory drum in the front and the manipulative compaction effort of typical of the tires in the back. So CC is combi and stands for combination of steel drum and pneumatic tires. So when it comes to compactive effort, the steel drum, which vibrates thanks to an eccentric vibe system rotating into the front drum, exerts an impact type of force thanks to the vibration, and a vibration type of force like this, which propagates into the ground. And of course, it also exerts some static weight. The simple fact that a weight is sitting on some soil or some asphalt layer exerts some force of compaction. The pneumatics, due to their geometry, also exert another type of compaction force, which is manipulation. Manipulation is the type of force that occurs concurrently in several directions. And manipulation is very good to seal the surface. So I have a very good action in closing the air voids at the top layer of the surface. So that's why combi is a good choice in case you have several applications where you need to close joints between different layers of asphalt. I hope I answered the question. There's another question about how much weight we can add with ballast. And the answer is 100 kilograms per side of each drum. So 4 ballast of 100 kilograms each for a total of 400 kilograms. It can be used on the CB 2.7, on the CB 2.9, and on the CB 34 and CB 36. Very good question from Gleb. There's yeah, sure, Herb. There's another question about why we don't have a 20 tons. Well, 20 tons is not a utility compactor anymore. It would be definitely a large asphalt compactor. We have 20-ton soil compactors, and we have up to 16 tons asphalt compactors. We call them simply asphalt compactors, or ACOM as an acronym. In this case, we talk about these smaller size class of utility compactors, which again, their entire philosophy is about being versatile, fit for several different type of jobs. Whenever there's not too wide layer of asphalt to be compacted, they may follow a small asphalt paver. They can be used on patchwork. They can use on tight lanes, on finishing some compaction in tight spaces. That's the entire philosophy of the utility compactors. All right. So, just to complete the answer to this question, the 20 tons soil compactors is available from Caterpillar for soil application. For asphalt application, it's another family, not the one that we were talking about here. But we have up to 16 tons asphalt specific compactors, which are perfectly fit for the thickest and wider asphalt compaction application. Okay, I think we run out of time. I don't see any other questions. So I take the chance to thank you again for your attention, for your very good questions. You can still, this video is gonna stay available for a long time on the Cat Construction Europe, Africa, Middle East Facebook account. So if you see that after this live, please go on and ask questions, whatever curiosity you might have about these models. Please feel free to ask comments. We'll answer all the questions. So for the time being, thank you, and see you at next Cat at Home session.